If you need to detach, you've already lost the battle. And the reason why is because if you are God, if you're operating as the God frequency, there's no need to detach from anything. If you remember who you really are and that you are energy and energy is everything, then there's nothing to detach from because you are everything. Does that make sense? Once you say you're detaching, you're implying that there's a separate thing that you are attached to, which creates a conflict, it creates desperation, it creates letting go, it creates resistance. And so now you're operating as a human rather than operating as who you really are. Consciousness and all your thoughts and emotions and ideas about this reality is just arising in consciousness. They're all ideas, they're all belies, right? I like to call beliefs belies because they are lies. And you have to realize that you are consciousness itself, and consciousness is just maybe not a container, but if you could imagine it as a container, and all of your thoughts, all of your emotions, all of your sensations, all of your perceptions on reality and yourself are just all arising in consciousness, and you are the one that is aware of all of these things happening. And the more that we can realize that there's no separate thing that I need to create into my reality, there's no reality to shift into, the more that we realize that there's nothing to detach or let go or shift into. We become the consciousness itself and realizing that it's a part of the whole and that it's just done, right? There's nothing to detach from. I mean, I could literally end the video here, right? It's like we want to get things perfect. We want to be a specific frequency, a specific, I have to have the specific type of confidence. I need to be the specific type of person, and then I'll get what I want out of life. Then I'll make more money. Then I'll be able to travel the world. Then I'll be starting the business and seeing the flow and seeing things work out for me. All of these ideas of things being flowing and things manifesting magically and all of this stuff is narratives and stories and belief systems and ideas and concepts, and that needs to be let go of completely, because once we have harder and easier and flow and stagnant and plateau and this and that, that is the character right there. That is the character that you're operating from, and so you are creating from the character, and so you're only experiencing what the character can deliver, which is limitation. And so as soon as you step out of these narratives and stories of detach and attach and letting go and just being, even the idea of surrendering, all of this stuff, these are words that are being used to describe something which will always equal polarity, right? So if I have to surrender from something, that means I'm attached to something. And instantaneously, you've created polarity and you're stuck in a loop of trying to break free from something. If you want to shift reality or create your reality or manifest your reality, you're implying polarity. You're implying that you don't have something and you need to get something. So you've instantly created a gap between you and the thing. It's just now, 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 right? There's no separation between you and the thing. It may look like that through your physical senses, but in the spiritual realm or in spirituality or in consciousness, everything is energy. Nothing is separate. And so you just need to choose your reality. Nothing to let go of, nothing to visualize, nothing to affirm, nothing to reprogram or subconsciously reprogram. The idea that you need to reprogram something, whilst that does work because you believe it works, it doesn't need to happen if you realize there are infinite potentials and there's a potential reality where you have a subconscious block and you still manifest the thing. Does that make sense? And so I still do practice with my clients and myself reprogramming of the subconscious mind. You don't have to necessarily completely let that go. I think it can support in facilitating shifting your reality and shifting how you feel in the character, but it's not necessarily required when you're in the God frequency. I was speaking to a client today where she was wanting to shift her reality and find the perfect partner, And she needed to become this perfect woman. She needed to be able to make the money. She needed to be able to feel a certain way. She feels this feeling of unloved and not enough and all this stuff. And I was like, do you think it's possible to still have a partner that still loves you, even though you have these feelings and insecurities inside yourself? And she was describing one of her friends, and one of her friends doesn't know anything about personal development, spirituality, law of attraction. And she's found her dream life partner. And I was saying, can you see the constriction in learning more information and law of attraction and manifesting, and how it constricts you and constricts you and constricts you? And now you're not open, and you have to find this ideal state and ideal frequency before you can experience your reality. And so I was sharing with her, that's why she was able to have this perfect partner, and why you keep on attracting relationships where they don't commit to you. And so, even in itself, in this video, I'm going to talk about the God frequency. And you might be hearing me say, hey, you need to get to the God frequency, right? And once you get to the God frequency, everything's going to shift into your reality. And that in itself is the character thinking it needs to get somewhere in order to shift reality. The God frequency itself is not trying to obtain something. You are remembering, you are remembering that you are the God frequency. It's not something that you get. Right? You was born with it. It's who you are. You can't escape it. Only the brain is telling you that you're not there yet, right? And so, in my community, we start dismantling the perceptions that you have about yourself and reality. And I've given you a guide, which is an interactive guide that you can, go through and navigate, and you click stuff, and it's going to show you what's blocking you, what's stopping you on a character level, and then what stage you're at on your journey to the God frequency. So you know where you are, and you know where you're going, in order to actually practically start shifting your reality. Okay. So if you want to get that, the link's in the description, and I'll see you in the community. I don't approve everyone, only serious people who are really serious about mastering their reality, mastering their life, and accessing the God frequency. You really want to practice being in presence whilst also obtaining material success. So this is spirituality and practicality, material success at the same time, masculine and feminine. So if you want to join, check the group, and I'll see you there. Peace.